As ridiculous and silly as this sounds, the thing that sparked my brain on into thinking about everything we're going to talk about in this video happened on a recent episode of SmackDown where R-Truth was dancing with Carmella. How dumb is that? I was watching the Fabulous Truth, or whatever their stupid mixed match challenge name, shake their ass around, and all of a sudden I was like, what is going on? While I could be referring to the segment in general, it was really weird. I'm actually referring to the fact that Carmella went from pretty good antagonistic champion heel to happy-go-lucky good guy with absolutely no explanation whatsoever. And no, it's not that big in the grand scheme of things, but when you let it chip away at your armor, eventually you gotta say that this lack of continuity is ruining WWE. Why? Still hurts. Here's why. The main fan I want to focus on as we start here are the individuals that deem themselves as brand new. And admittedly, that's not happening that much these days, but it does because there are people out there who are watching Raw and SmackDown by themselves. They haven't found the IWC yet or any of the nonsense you can throw yourself into. They simply one day stumbled across WWE television and thought, oh, well, this looks very pleasant. I think I'll give this a lovely little watch. So what on earth are they meant to think when someone like Carmella all of a sudden changes her attitude for no reason whatsoever? I get I'm being pernickety and super pedantic here, but I know that if I was this person and I just started watching WWE television and all of a sudden I couldn't connect any of these dots, I'd start to blame myself. I go, well, I guess I don't understand the format of this program. I'll turn it off. Few individuals are actually going to come to the conclusion that this billion-dollar company just changes things on a whim. They'll decide they must be too far behind the curve and they'll walk away to do something else, like stick their finger in some water. If you're going to say something else then, it would have been disgusting. It's not exclusive to this demographic either, of course. Even people like you and I have been watching wrestling for way too long. That's not cool for us. Of course that's going to grind our gears. WWE just hurls characters and storylines out the window because they come up with a new concept. They just had to pull the trigger on it straight away, as opposed to, taking our time and being patient and allow other little bits of narratives to play out first. Carmella could have gone through weeks of interesting tales showing us that she realized the error of her ways and allowing us to buy into this brand new good person persona, which we would have connected with more. But no, we had some silly little thing to promote on Facebook Watch, and therefore, once again, let's take everything we've done and flush it down the toilet. That's not what a toilet is for. Toilet is there for wee and, well, yes, poo. That is nonsense no matter how you look at it and undermines potential time and time again. It was just like, well, she can be a good guy now because that kind of serves our brand new agenda. This happened again on the same damn episode of SmackDown, where I all of a sudden noticed that Lana has completely dropped her accent. Again, it's not a big deal, but it does show a distinct lack of respect for the viewer and ties in to everything I just said. At least when we did this with Kofi Kingston, there was a little laugh in the ring. Triple H went, wait, what are you doing? And Kofi had this funny look on his face. At least we made a joke out of it. These days, again, the toilet. Bring the crapper back in here. I need to go. So yeah, with all of that, I would bet my ass that somebody brand new to WWE would be utterly confused by this. Think of that in any other soap or imagine a movie, right? I cut myself off. Imagine in a movie, Brad Pitt walked in and he was Russian, and then by the end of the movie, he was Italian, and you had absolutely no idea why. These are two tiny examples, but there are far bigger ones as well, such as wrestlers teaming up with each other, even though they were having blood feuds a few weeks ago, or storylines vanishing because they no longer fit the creative direction. You wouldn't do that on a road, would you? You wouldn't be driving a car and go, well, I'm meant to be going left, but I don't want to go left, so I'll just fly through this intersection and just hope that everything's okay. It makes things even harder to watch because if you did invest in the first place and then that rug gets pulled out from underneath you, you're going to feel like a moron and like you shouldn't have given two shits to begin with. Do you remember when Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns teamed on Raw for some reason, even though just a few months prior, Braun Strowman had actually tried to commit murder and kill Roman Reigns by flipping a bunch of vehicles he just so happened to be in. But don't worry about that, just take that out of your brain and chuck it to one side again, because that doesn't really tie into what we want to tell you today. Imagine all stories were like that as well. Romeo just comes back from the dead because a writer somewhere goes, well, you know what would be good? If Romeo got in a relationship with Mercutio, so he's just back. Zombie Romeo. You can do it, sure, you're in charge, but continuity is such an important tool because it allows your viewer to understand the universe, you love that word WWE, the universe, accept those rules and never feel like they're being pulled from pillar to post. WWE recently, especially this year, my word, it's like you're being dragged around by a sledge. Just look at Sasha Banks and Bayley, that stuff was utter bonkers, and we never got a conclusion there at all. They just went, well, we're friends, and that's what we do. We may as well have put some 70s theme music over the top of it and called this the WWE sitcom. It was cheesy and stupid and made no sense. While I'm fine with the likes of New Japan and WWE being different from each other, I actually think you can enjoy the promotion more where they're not alike. You've got to admit the former does that far better than the latter. Nearly every plot is thought out and rarely deviated from, meaning you can get an understanding of who these characters are and kind of get an idea of what they would and wouldn't do. And when you do that, when you do decide to turn them heel, guess what? You'll get a reaction from the audience. You're like, oh, I can't believe they did that. Then justify why they made that turn and boom, we're off to the races. If sense doesn't exist to begin with, then all of it is nonsense. And that's a tagline from me, Simon Miller, that you can use, but you gotta pay me 50% of any profits that you come up with, because that's just a fair business deal. No wrestling product is ever going to be perfect in this, guys, but we have to create some rules and stick to them. Otherwise, we're just creating a madhouse. The best thing about WWE is when you can get a good idea of who and what somebody is. That's near impossible if one day they just do a 180 because somebody writing in the back thought it may be funny. So let's stop with that, rewrite what does and doesn't add up, and try to build a strong foundation here, because if you don't have a strong foundation, your house is gonna fall down. And nobody wants a house that's gonna fall down. It's never happened. Nobody has ever walked into a mortgage advisor and said, look, the kind of house I'm looking for, where I wanna live, is something that's gonna crumble and kill me in my sleep. Don't kill me in my sleep, WWE. I wouldn't appreciate it. And if we don't do this, where on earth are we going to end up? I think it's fair to say that 2018 has been even worse for this than 2017 and 2016. So if 2019 continues to go that way, well, I don't think that way is very good. And you can't even see that way. That, my friends, is an even bigger problem. But continuity, it's important. You can't just forget it. Otherwise, we're all doomed. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about all of this. Like, share, and subscribe. Head on over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles. And you can follow WhatCulture on that thing there called Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. This was the Wide Series. Thank you for watching me. And as always, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feelings. Go down there in the comments, as we've already said. Head on over to social media and let your feelings know. Keep the conversation going. My heart will sing to you, which is a bit weird, but life is weird. Get used to it. I'll see you soon.